His Three Daughters is the latest Netflix film to land on the platform, but does it hit all the right emotional beats? Hey everyone, welcome to Cinema, where we focus on a film. I'm Josh, this is Simply Cinema. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of his Three Daughters. If you've seen it, do you like it, do you not like it, or is it somewhere right in the middle? Or if you're waiting for this review to help you decide if you're going to see it or not, make sure to like this video if you enjoy it, subscribe if you haven't already to join in the film culture community where we talk about a lot of cinema as a whole, and getting right into the synopsis. Three estranged sisters reunite in a cramped New York apartment as they help out with their ailing father in his final days. And getting right into the positive, I'd first like to give credit to the actresses that played their parts in this Three Daughters film. We get Natasha Lyonne, Elizabeth Olsen, and Carrie Coon, and each one does a dramatic performances that really sings to the purest nature of what you expect out of this realistic circumstance. It's not particularly shining a spotlight on a real event, but it can be a real event to the circumstances of what they're being put into. These three estranged sisters that are going to meet up together again within this tight apartment as they're trying to help out with their father. There's different circumstances that go about along the way, but it's really managing to touch on a lot of themes such as sisterhood, on grief, on death, and life as a whole, how we get separated from each other at different points, even if we're family, even if we're close to each other to begin with. There's just different points of life that really shines through with this, and it's wrapped up in one set location, one set family that is also dealing with all of these different circumstances. There are parts of life that have separated them from each other, but they have to figure themselves out, not only independently, but being able to share and learn what the others think of them, all while tackling the idea of what their father means to them, what their involvement with their father has been in the past and in the present day as they're basically awaiting his death to finally happen. In these circumstances, there's a few new characters that come about along the way. A helper with counseling, someone that's going about helping them with their doctor work, and different house sitters as well. But what we get out of the Three Daughters relationship, it's really great, and I'm a fan of director Azazel Jacobs and his work, what I've seen in the past. I've only seen The Lovers, which is one of my favorite films, as well as French Exit, and he has a few other films that I definitely have on my watch list and spotlight, but for what I've seen of his work, this one handles the subject well still and manages to capture simple cinematography in a way that brings excellent warmth to the lighting and how it's utilized and everything that's done by the shots. It's very straight and simple, but it's to the point and manages to still feel creative while not necessarily feeling like there's a lot of movement to it, because there's not really any action to the story besides walking around doing these different things, different projects here and there. And so it's meant to be a slow moving film that handles its camera work properly because of all the tight set locations that it's put into. And there's an admiration to speaking to what the house, what their character they're building, not only within the characters, the Three Daughters, but also to the location itself, because we get to know the location, get to understand the ins and out, the connection to who lived in it in the past, its past relics that came from the life that was lived with it. And so the setting feels proper, and it's sort of a warm set location that feels cozy, and there's a warmth to the lighting while also having a sense of dreariness to the shadows, certain things that are going on with the impending death that they're awaiting from the father. That really speaks to the nature of the story, how it's being built up, and it is given the right pacing and given most of the time that it needs to tell its story within how it flows on throughout, getting to know all the quirks and personalities of the daughters and what we get within their relationships with each other, getting different duo moments here and there. These two sisters, while one is apart from the other, and then the other two sisters, and just getting a sense of the trio and how they're working together to try and get to know each other better while not necessarily having that set to go with and having different exceptions that go about along the way with what we're learning about them. And it's not having huge twists or anything that really is shocking, but to the simplicity of the story, it tells its nature in a fascinating way that's very touching, very moving, and can hit home with people that have lost their father recently, or having lost someone in general, or having been estranged to a sibling or family member that you feel you've been close to or had a relationship in the past, and just getting to know each other. It fits a lot better with what you're expecting out of the story and the themes it deals with, especially with sisterhood. It becomes a lot more poignant to the memory of what I got out of this film, feeling all the emotions that are getting pulled out and really sucking me into the story, especially with the directing from Azazel Jacobs and the performances as a whole. That sings true to the nature that I feel like this story is trying to tell as a whole. Which takes me into the mixed elements, to which this may not be a film for everyone, whether it's too heavy set of a drama and too close to home that you don't want to revisit these type of memories, whether it's based on death or being estranged from your siblings and having regrets in the past, or there's certain ideas where there's different revelations within the realism of the story. While I mention it captures most of the time that it needs to tell its story, there's also a sense of realism that is taken out just a little bit in order to capture how quickly these relationships get mended with each other. And so how that's pulled about from beginning to end, it feels like it's given almost the right amount of time to be able to mend a relationship, but also still concluding with an ending that you might expect it to do, and in a quicker time than it feels like it ought to, based on the characters, how it sets them up, and certain internal conflicts between 2 or 3 of the sisters. That feels like there should be more time to mend the past scars that have broken them apart in the past. And so just little things like that here and there can break up the momentum of the story, but overall I feel there's a lot of good bits and pieces that mends this film together in a way that still manages to craft the right story that it's trying to tell. And so that's just my review for History Daughters, which I have to rate a simply 9 out of 10. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of History Daughters. What is it good, was it bad, or somewhere right in the middle, or if you're waiting for this review to tell you if you should see it or not. Make sure to like this video if you enjoy it, subscribe if you haven't already to join in film culture community where we talk about a love of cinema as a whole. And so that's just all, and make sure to do yourself a favor and go watch a movie.